Alrighty, hey everyone. So just wanted to sort of discuss attack chains in Darktide and sort of how they work, because I've sort of learned some things while testing them, and they're super helpful. But then it's also sort of raised more questions for me. So um, using the chainsword, just because I think that's whoops, sorry, because I think that's one of the it's got more sort of distinct attacks, so it's easier to differentiate which attack you're seeing when. Um, and you'll notice when we sort of go through, so I'll give you just a brief outline of sort of what the attacks are. So attack 1 in the lights is an overhead. Attack 2 is sort of a diagonal. Attack 3 is a horizontal swipe. And then back to an overhead, but from sort of the other angle, so the other side of the V. So the first one is this way, second one is this way. And then the heavies are number 1 is a wide sweep, number 2 is a single target. And so the way that helped me the most to sort of wrap my head around it is if you imagine if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4 for the lights, there's a second set that you'd be counting sort of, you're imagining that you're counting also for the heavies, but it just resets after 2. So if you were to go, if you were to imagine that you were counting in the heavy pattern while doing the light swings, it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. And so you would expect that instead of doing the fourth attack, you would get the overhead swing because that's the second heavy. So it's 1, 2, 1, and then the overhead swing. And what I never understood, that sort of once I realized it, is sort of this became really handy to me, is that because of the way it resets and the way it sort of counts forward, even though this weapon has sort of single target sweeps mixed in, single target attacks mixed in with sweeps, if you only wanted the sweeps, it is possible to get that. You would just start with the heavy, that's 1, and then the light would be, because you're using it as the second attack, it would be the second light that you get, which instead of the overhead is the sort of diagonal sweep. So you'd go 1, 2, 1, 2, and you're only getting sweeps now, which is super handy. And the alternative is also useful if you have a certain weapon that you want to get the overhead single target, better damage attacks from, and you're versing something armored. You can do that. You can just go 1 and then 2, and then so you're getting the overheads followed by the sort of overhead two-handed attacks. Where this started to break down and started to make less sense to me, the more I thought about it, was if you were to go, if you were to do a chain like this, so it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Ignore that last one because that last one was wrong. But if you were to continue chaining that, it doesn't seem to make any sense anymore because you're getting 1, 2, 3, which makes sense because this is the second attack in the heavy, and this is the third attack in the light. So that all makes sense. But then once it resets, so this is then the fourth attack. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, which again is good because if you imagined it as you were only doing heavies, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's correct. But then when you go back to this, to the next light, it's number 3 again. And if you were to think about it, it probably should be number 1. It should probably be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should probably be this attack. But it isn't. If you continue to chain it, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, which is very bizarre. And I've noticed this with other weapons as well. Like, for example, the Ogren's shovel, I'm pretty sure does this. And I'm sure there's loads of other weapons that do it because in very particular chains, it just becomes quite strange, and it just does this. Another one that was odd to me is that the push, like if you were to do a push and then not the push shove, like not the shove attack, but just the shove and then a charged attack, that works as you would expect. So the shove functions like an attack, and then you're getting the second heavy. So you're getting 1, 2. Totally fine. That makes sense. Then if you were to go the push shove into the push shove attack into a heavy, that also makes sense. You get 1, 2, 3. You get the wide sweep because 3 would be the same as, if you were to look back at the Eviscerator, you're getting like push, shove, so push, attack, and then the third one is the heavy, which makes sense because it's as if you're going 1, 2, 3, and you're starting again. So again, that makes sense, which is also very useful because that can be worked into combos, like I was saying before, when you only want to get like sweeping attacks, you can use that to get a shove into a shove into, if I can do it, a shove into a heavy, and then you can just go straight into that sweep, 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 sweep combo, which is super handy. So that allows you to keep cleaving while you're getting your block shoves in, which is nice. And another thing to note is that blocking always resets your combo. So if you go 1, 2, block, you're back to the start. But the thing that is the most confusing to me is that if you just do a shove and then go into your light attack, at least on the chainsword, it goes to attack 4. So if you shove and then go to the light attack, it's this diagonal swipe, which is just so strange. And I have no understanding of why that would be. Unless, I don't know. Unless the shove acts like it's the third attack in a chain. So that would be third attack. That would be fourth attack. So you'd go third, fourth. No, that doesn't work because then that would be number 1, and it's not. It's number 3. So, yeah, if anyone's got any reasoning to why that might be, I'd love to hear it. My best guess is that the game maybe just treats this overhead attack and this one as the same attack. I think they're maybe just interchangeable, and it just uses that one because the animation looks better, like it flows better. But anyone who can give me any insight into that would be, I would be very grateful. And so I think when I was doing it with the Crucius Hammer though, this had similar sort of quirks. Is if you do a shove into an attack, into a light attack anyway, that doesn't go straight to like the fourth attack in the combo, even though it's only got 3. This one just goes straight into number 1. So again, unless there's some sort of weirdness about how just a single push on its own functions in a combo, or maybe it's a weird Eviscerator thing, not sure. But the Crucius Hammer also has some oddities in that that same sort of confusing combo I mentioned with the chainsword, where it goes so the combo where it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, and it stays stuck in this repetitive cycle. This doesn't happen on the Crucius Hammer. On the Crucius Hammer, your 3 light attacks are diagonal, diagonal, sweep, and then your heavy attacks are right to left and left to right. And so if you go 1, 2, that 3 should be the light attack sweep. It should be this sweep because it's number 3, but it isn't. And the thing that's even more peculiar to me is that animation would work. It would go it would go light attack, left to right, and then that light could be right to left. I held the button there and I was actually doing the heavy. That's why it went right to left. But yeah, this attack here goes right to left. So it would work. It would work fine. And yeah, so just another peculiarity with the attack chains. And it's like that there is a really cool consistency to it for certain things, like being able to get, always get the sort of sweep that you want on like the eviscerator, and being able to chain it into, you could go first light, second heavy in a combo, or you could go first heavy, second light in a combo, and get sort of different patterns out of what you're doing. But it's just very strange that you have to learn what attacks you're going to get when you do particular things on every individual weapon, because there's not a consistency about sort of it's almost there's no consistency with where the combo resets on certain weapons, which is yeah, I'm not sure if I like it or not. I kind of like that you have to learn your weapon. I think that's kind of neat, but yeah, just something to think about. So yeah, if you have any thoughts, please let me know. Cheers.